my intention is let's light this guy up. Let's light this gal up in a way that nobody has spoken to them today. Actually, legitimately. And sometimes it takes people a second because they're not used to it. Is this guy messing with me? Everyone wants to get to the top, wants to see that $100,000, $1 million checks, but no one's willing to shovel this shit. To me, what mental toughness is showing up to be the absolute best version of yourself on the days and in the moments you certainly don't feel like it.
A leader to me is someone that's in the driver's seat of their life. If you're in the driver's seat of your life, you are a leader.
Somewhere in the world, in this very moment, there's somebody who is the happiest man alive. All choose to be that. That's a choice. You cannot say you're happier than me. You could not say you're happy. You could prove it. Prove it. You're gonna have to do the shit you don't want to do. And if you don't want to do it, I will. We're not playing the same game now. And I'm sorry for getting fired up like that.
But like, lay it out, bro. Come on. Give me more. This is The Way You Lead, a show for the new era of leaders who are ready to rise. I'm Joshua Church, and every week we explore how to lead from the inside out with strength, heart, and authenticity. Through stories, strategies, and conversations with embodied leaders, you'll gain what you need to lead yourself and others in today's changing world. The way you lead matters, and now is the time to step up. Chad, my brother.
Joshua, my brother.
Hey, dude. So good. Thanks for cruising out from LA for this.
Yeah, dude. No problem.
I appreciate you showing up, making the effort.
My pleasure.
So good.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
The flat tire was not in my cards.
Nope. Not even a flat tire could stop you.
No.
You've had a lot of car troubles, I feel like.
What is that?
Yeah. What's God trying to tell you with that?
And they're not trouble. There's
true.
No trouble.
No trouble.
Actually, easy. I said, you know what? I'll handle this. Boom.
Great.
15 minutes.
You know what I think it is? I think the message just came through. Is that when there's certain issues with your car, it requires you to interact with more people that you otherwise wouldn't have. So I think those people were coming.
I did light that Chevrolet guy the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I know you made his day.
Oh, dude, I was. I'm like, bro, this is amazing. How you do this? You change the tire. He was just.
He's never been gassed up like that before.
He's never been gassed up like that for changing a tire.
Honestly,
and I was super grateful.
Yeah.
So
do you make that like? With your interactions, like when you have random interactions, like what's your approach to that? How do you do you make that a goal? Like, let me light this person up, or how do you bring an interaction? Because that's a different interaction most people have.
Yeah. No, I think my intention is let's light this guy up. Let's light this gal up in a way that nobody has spoken to them today or maybe ever while they're doing their job. Actually, legitimately. Because then you get the best result.
Right.
Like you get the best result for you and for them. Like you make it more fun for them.
Yeah.
I play with it myself. I'm like, how much can I And sometimes it takes people a second because they're
not used to it.
Is this guy messing with me? Like, is this guy the biggest jerk I've ever?
Way to change that tire, man.
Yeah, no, I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
and I think it comes off like they get the genuineness of it because I genuinely am grateful, but it's so simple.
So simple.
So simple.
And how has the quality of your relationships or interactions improved by taking that perspective?
The quality has by taking that perspective, I just find it honestly makes me feel better.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're in a crummy situation or you're in a, it makes you feel better about the situation that you're in. It also like in this example, that guy changed the tire pretty quickly. He wanted to do the best possible job because he liked me, So I just, I was getting my medical insurance, my
insurance update,
life insurance or health insurance, whatever that's called. And, the guy was just has to go through these questions. And I'm talking a list of questions where it's I'm on the other line just no.
Yeah.
No. And at the end, I'm like, brother, do you do that all day, every day? He's like, yeah, you bet. And I'm like, that's unbelievable, bro. Actually, kudos to you. I was just aiming to light him up.
Yeah.
Because it's that's got to be pretty numbless, pretty boring. But it's dude, go. It's all about send people back home with a light that's beaming. The more you give, the more you get back. For sure. But like you gotta like, it's like actively caring for other people. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to just light up every person you're talking to, you know. Huge smiles, just excitement, genuine passion. Just lighting people up is the most fun thing there is, in my opinion. I love that.
Yeah, you're very skilled at it too. It's something I feel like you practice as well, and anybody can do. And small interactions, whatever it is, when you're ordering coffee or when you meet someone, it's like that's how you lead. That's dope.
You think so? I appreciate that.
I think so, absolutely.
Because like I and we feed off each other when we do it, but.
And I've seen it firsthand so many times. I'll never forget when we were getting ice cream. We were with a big group of people, and we were getting ice cream at Salt and Straw. Big shout out to Salt and Straw. And everybody like orders. They come up with their ice cream. I go first, and there was a long line, a lot of people, so I was first. You weren't seeing me order. And I have a great conversation, and I bring that same approach, that game of like, how can I make a personal connection? Even if it's something like, I love to do this at coffee shops or I'm ordering food, of like, humanize them in some way of like, what time are you off? Or is it a busy morning today? Like, there's a person behind there that like, if I was that person, I would want to have some interaction that's different than just the pleasantries as normal. And so I was making that my goal, and I was doing nothing different than that. And then at the end, I went to go check out, and I got free ice cream. And they were like, no, this one's on me. Like, thanks for the great conversation. Amazing. I walk outside, I'm having my free ice cream. Everybody else is eating. And then I'll never forget, you turn the corner as you're coming back out, and you're like, did you guys get free ice cream too? And it was amazing. It was like, you and I were the only ones that got free ice cream, but it goes to show. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense because it was an intention. Yeah. And like free ice cream is just one example of like something that's nice that can happen. But like, how can that translate to other things in life and in business how can that boomerang back in what free ice cream could be in other ways? Like, it's amazing what can happen when you treat people that way. Make that goal from this interaction. How can I light this person up?
Yeah. Yeah. How can I light this person up? How can I make this interaction more positive or fun or light or just, you know, it's the same thing in the workforce, like in your career. Like, you know, I don't think everyone, you know, maybe that's our game. Sometimes I battle the idea of like, I don't want to tell you how to play your game. Right. Like, you know, but to me, so far in my career, like hard work, yes. But I really, really believe like the energy I bring to the office, the attitude, like the passion, the excitement, that is what really catapults me farther and farther in my career. And I think like it's every day on a human interaction scale. And you know, I go to the Chevron on the corner every day, literally every day, either to get gum or a kombucha or a protein bar or whatever. And every time I walk in there, like, you know, I'm talking to the people behind the desk. Like they know me very well at this point, but it's like that, you know, this morning, like I had to get air in my tire and the machine was not working. I could not get it to work. And it's like, you know, because they know me, because we have good interactions every day, they come up, like they give me air for free, which I guess, which I see isn't like a huge deal, but like goes out of his way to like make sure he helps me fill up the tire, make sure it works, make sure it's good. And I think it's just because I come in there every day and like I'm excited, like they're excited to see me, they're happy to see me. So it's I think we got to give more in this world, you know. I think we got to give more. We got to light people up. You never know how long of a way, like a genuine smile, a genuine appreciation, a genuine interest, like to the people behind the cold store bar. You never know how far a genuine smile and genuine interest could go to somebody's day. It could change their whole day.
It could save their life.
It could save their life, man. And I've had genuinely know for a fact that is true. Like I've had people thank me for that, you know? So I aim to lead that way always. And you could always catch yourself like when I'm not in a good mood. I could always catch myself when I'm not in a good mood if I'm not interacting that way with other people. Yeah. And if I catch myself like not interacting that way with people, then I understand, okay, the only thing what I need to do then is just get myself to act that way. And then I start getting in a better mood because I'm lighting other people up. So good. You know?
So good.
And vibrationally, like using that to get up there. Yeah. To get myself there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
it's so much, it's so fitting, I feel like, to have you here for this conversation, because we've had many conversations on the podcast before. Many. You're definitely the guest I've had on the most, and we've just had lots of jams, which I love. This is a new chapter to have you here, and it's very fitting just the way that it all worked out with me not really intending for this to be a new chapter episode, but it really is a new chapter episode here. And I'm grateful for you to be sitting across from me to usher in this new era of what this podcast was, and the transition from Find the Others to the way you lead. It's very fitting to have a leader like you sitting across the way as this first episode to bring this all home.
Thank you, brother. I can sit down and jam with you for days and hours, and you know that. Can you tell me a little bit about the pivot? And like what exactly it is, and like what inspired it?
Definitely. It's all still very fresh right now as we're recording this conversation, but for me, I'm really focusing and honing in on helping leaders and really helping usher leaders, inviting leaders to step up and to help usher in this new era of leadership. Because as you're saying here, and you're talking about this, like, you're talking about leadership, and it's leadership starts with self. Like, self leadership is step number one. If you want to lead other people, you first have to be able to effectively lead yourself. And I feel like we've been leading ourselves and we've been leading others. And fortunately, after leading self and leading others, we've been in the position, and I've been in the position to be able to lead leaders. And to me, that's where I can make the biggest impact, and where God has put the path in front of me to receive certain blessings and to overcome certain challenges, to allow me to be qualified enough to feel like I can step up and lead leaders. And I'm really getting focused right now on amplifying my impact, for number one, and two, expanding my reach to make a deeper impact. And the best way to do that I know how, is to focus in what my message is and who I'm really specific on helping. And that's me as the leaders. And it's really like, I just see that there's this new way that we're going to need to lead if we want to lead our planet and truthfully save our humanity. Like, I feel it's that dire of a situation. I feel like there's zero doubt that we're actually going to do this, and we're going to be able to live in harmony and in peace. Like, I see that so possible with the right leaders and with the right leadership. And so I feel a personal responsibility to share what I've learned to inspire and empower this next generation of leaders, because it's a new way. It's not like the old guys with gray hair, like, here are the leadership strategies to manage your team better. It's like, no, the leaders that we need for tomorrow, for this new era, with how fast AI is growing and changing and completely obliterating industries and evolving with how humanity's evolving. It's like, we need strong, embodied, and heart-led leaders to be able to step up. And so I'm going to be focusing more of my time and energy into supporting those leaders. So
hell yeah. That is, I have chills just as you say it, because like, that is you. Like, that is you. You've always been like camp counselor Josh.
Yeah.
Like he's always been, when there's 10 guys, I remember going to going to the rec basketball in college, and we're all, there's like 12, 13 guys shooting. Everyone knows we want to play a game. Who's the guy that goes and organizes the game? Who's the guy that runs to the other end of the court? Hey, you guys down to run 5? It's always been you. In the small ways, you've been a leader, but in the large ways too. I've also had the pleasure to work with you and for you, and always will. And that's what you are. Through and through, brother, a leader.
Thank you, bro.
A leader. And was it hard to let go of Find the Others? Was that interesting?
Yeah.
What's it like making that type of pivot?
Yeah.
Clarity for sure, but is it?
It's a great question. I mean, there's almost like this part of like, because it's still happening in such real time, as we're having this conversation, which I love, and I want to bring that. And I think a big core pillar of this new era leader is honesty and integrity and authenticity. It's like that's such an important pillar of this all. And so I want to, and I aim to be as real, raw, vulnerable as possible. And I found that that's a very effective way to lead. It's still in real time right now as we're processing this conversation. There's both. There's the clarity of like, this feels really good in this direction. This feels clear and amazing. And also, like, Find the Others is such a part of me, and it always will be a part of me as well. And TBD in what ways that looks. But right now it feels like it feels like a new identity and a new version, which feels good. There's a part that feels sad in a way, because it's like Find the Others, like this podcast has been around for 5 years. Like this concept of Find the Others will always live on, but it feels like a real transition in chapter, a change in chapter, and a change in identity, right? And we know this, but in order to make the most sustainable and effective change, it's identity-based behavioral change. It's identifying as I am someone who is healthy, or I am someone who is strong. I am a leader. It's that identity, because then you have a lens in which you're looking through life. You have a North Star that allows you to evaluate decisions that you make and use discernment of like, oh, if I identify someone that's healthy, like I'm going to choose this option for lunch instead of this one, or I'm going to take the stairs instead of the escalator. You know, habits, James Clear Habits talks about this a lot, Atomic Habits. But so for me, there is this identity shift that comes with it that I'm welcoming, and is an opportunity for me to continuously redefine myself as stepping into this, which is scary in some way, especially because I feel like Find the Others is a much more broad message, that it's like kind of more inclusive for everybody, of like, if you're into growth or self-development, or, you know, you want to get better, or like these, as I like to say, like the closeted spiritual people, it's like Find the Others is the invitation to like come out of the closet and to like, you can belong here. And that part of me feels like felt some resistance to let that go, because if I'm talking to leaders, it's a bit more of a specific type of person. And I do believe that we're all leaders, though, because leadership starts with self. And if you're not leading yourself, then you're being led by someone else. And if you want to turn the lights on and lead yourself, it starts with self-leadership. And in order to lead others, you have to lead yourself first. So there is an avenue and a lane for that as well. But I look around too, and most of the people through Find the Others, it's like everybody's leaders. They're free thinkers. They're entrepreneurs. They're creatives. They're working on something different. They're living their lives a little bit differently than the herd. And that is a leader by definition. So it's a mix of emotions, but it feels really good.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you. Like,
Thank you,
as
man.
you were telling it to me earlier, and as you're telling it to me now, it's just like, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous, and I'm very excited to see just how everything evolves as you continue to jump in a swim.
Thanks, bro.
You don't have to have all the answers. You just go. Just go.
One step at a time.
Just making the move, making the decisions.
Thanks, bro. So let's unpack leadership a little bit here in this conversation. What does it mean to you to be a leader? What does leadership look like to you in your everyday life?
I think often the best leaders don't even realize that how many people they're inspiring, or that they're leading, or they're motivating, or however you define leadership, right? I think leaders are people that are giving you the ability and the tools to create and act in your own way, in your own accord, right? I think leadership is how you show up vibrationally in every interaction, right? I'm going to be a leader by just like, today's Monday, but I'm feeling good. Today's
setting
a good
the
day.
tone.
I'm going to be a leader by inspiring and hyping people up around me. I'm going to be a leader by getting through the tough shit nobly. And I'm going to be a leader by being loyal and having the people around me's back. And I'm going to be a leader by genuinely caring and wanting to support and pick them up when they're down and push them forward when they're down, and be the biggest fan when they're winning, when they're up. And so leadership, it to me is, and I guess like I was telling you, I've been watching a lot of I've been learning a lot of history on like George Washington and Abe Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant, and I might have pronounced his name wrong. It's my fault. But
I think you got it right.
I've been learning a lot about these leaders, and it's so interesting how different they all were, but how noble, how honorable, in the foresight they all had in each of their particular ways. But one thing that I guess I get tripped up on is like none of them really asked to be leaders, if you will. They weren't, they didn't want to be the president. They didn't want to be the number one. But they had to. They had to step into it. They had to, for a bigger purpose, and because they were the only people for the job. So, you know, I think, and I think leadership playing sports is something we
Right.
talked all about, right? Leading men and leading by example, and it's not what you say, but it's what you do, but then it's also what you say, and it's giving people hope and giving people opportunity, and giving people permission. So what is leadership to you?
I like that.
What do you,
it's a great question. It's a loaded question in so many ways. Leadership to me is it's making it's living with consciousness and integrity and with a purpose. That's what leadership is to me, because if you're leading, like you're leading yourself and other people, you have to be going somewhere. Like a leader is someone that's going somewhere. You're clear on where you're going, one way or the other. You have a destination in mind and you're on a path, some sort of path that is defined by certain boundaries. And a leader is the one that leaders go first. A leader is the one that is leading that path and going first and embracing it all, and, you know, chopping the trees down with the machete ahead of the rest of the group. So, but I think it looks like in so many different ways, because a leader to me is someone that's in the driver's seat of their life. If you're in the driver's seat of your life, you are a leader.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. A leader is somebody that's in the driver's seat. A leader is somebody that's owning themselves.
Yes.
That's owning who they are.
That's right.
Right.
It's the thermostat, not the thermometer.
It's the thermostat, not a thermometer. And, you know, everybody needs a leader. Yeah. Everybody. Even leaders need a leader, right? Yeah. We need leaders, right? It's all about having some, like, that is probably actually the most important thing that I think we figured out soon when we all moved out here, is like, when we all moved out here together, like you, me, all of our friends, was like, oh, we're all leaders.
Yeah.
Everyone here is a leader. Everyone here is owning themselves, owning their future, owning their shit, owning their greatness. And I think ownership and being in the driver's seat of your own life is everything when it comes to being a leader. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I was just telling you earlier before we started rolling that I noticed, based on what you're sharing on Instagram, that you're on some good shit, because I can see the music that you're posting. And anytime you're posting good music, I'm like, oh, Chad's on it. I know it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
So what you been on? What you been on recently?
Yeah, I mean, freaking loaded question, but I love it. I love it. I mean, dude, since we last spoke, our last podcast, I've just been, I certainly entered a new mode in my life.
Tell me more,
if you will.
Yeah.
You know, when we last spoke, we were kind of like diving into, like, you know, post-edge life. And the last couple months, you know, has been a freaking grind. Has been a grind of doing the best every single day and every moment I can, day in, day out, every hour, every minute. That doesn't mean like I'm working and grinding every hour, any minute, but like showing up as the best version of myself. It's been me versus me. Like that has been it. And you know, I think I set a goal, like right after we spoke, the only thing I've really been prioritizing right now in my life has been controlling my inputs, and tying success based to those inputs, but consistently controlling my attitude and controlling my efforts, because I'm doing something in my life right now, which is being a full-time entrepreneur, if you will, working for myself. I have entered uncharted territory, if you will. And so I've been sharpening my teeth. The last
hard to imagine they could get any sharper. What's the tell me a little bit more too about this, because I see this, you know, this is not just something you're saying on camera, but I see this in real time with our 6 a.m. text messages every morning in the work week. You on it? Let's go, game time. But that controlling inputs, because I mean, we worked closely together when we were doing sales. You're in the sales business right now, right? And selling for a few different people. And sales puts it to the front of mind, where it's like it is a game of controlling your inputs and your attitude, and you have to let the scoreboard take care of itself. But how have you seen that muscle get stronger? Because you've been working on that for years now, and I see you constantly working on it still. Like how, like, has that muscle, do you feel like, has it gotten stronger? Like, and like when there's down days or down months, like do you notice that you have a stronger sense of resilience than before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You learn the ability to trust yourself by doing the difficult things. You learn the ability to trust yourself. And as I've stepped into this new role of like this entrepreneurial role, it could be scary, it could be daunting, it could be super, super unclear. It can also be exciting and fun and fast paced. And I quickly realized, there was a time, and I think I'm pretty close to like out of that period, but there was a time like back in December, January, where it's just like one day at a time, dude. One day at a time. So controlling the inputs meant like, practicing mental toughness, right? Whether that was meditating every single day, first thing in the morning, and then going to the gym, and then coming back and journaling, and then diving into work. And okay, what are my non-negotiables? Like, what are the things I have to do every single day that put me in a better position tomorrow, that put me in a way better position the next day? And it was just a game of let's control the inputs. And it still is a game of let's control the inputs and tie success based off of that, based off how strong my attitude was, how excited I was, and just getting the stuff done that I could control, if you will. And that compounds, consistency of that compounds drastically. But it's an everyday type effort. It's an everyday type controlling what you can control, because you got to be consistent in it, or you don't know what works, what doesn't work. So it's been a game of, can I show up every single day and tie my success to controlling my inputs? And what you notice, you start to see what works. You start to see what doesn't work. Then as you start to see what works, you start to pour gas on what's working. And then you don't get wider with it, if you will. You get deep.
Double down.
You double down into what works. You don't get wider with it. You go deeper into what works. And then you compound that in consistency every single day, compounding. And then as that is happening, as you are growing, as business is growing, as you're improving, like God, the universe, providence, if you will, begins to match you. Like, I think you were sharing a story on Instagram the other day. It was like you were worried, and then all of a sudden you woke up with like this huge bonus check. It's like, if you control the inputs and you show up like that, you start to get these little bonuses just throughout the day, throughout the week. And those bonuses start to compound as well.
Right.
So it's like, it has been a game of controlling the inputs and controlling my attitude, but also giving the opportunity in the relationships grace to figure themselves out, to learn how to get it to click. Like you're kind of, it's like almost like waiting for it to click, and then once it clicks, it clicks. And
yeah, and you have to have faith.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. You have to have faith that it will click as well. How do you keep the faith?
Yeah,
how do you keep the faith that it will click when things don't feel like they're clicking?
Because I'm certain. I'm when David went out there to go against Goliath, he's like, David, are you scared? He's like, well, yeah, I'm scared, is what David says as he's going out to
Goliath.
Goliath. He goes, David, like, why are you doing this? You're crazy. You're gonna die. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. There's no way. This guy is a giant, and you are like a little like wimpy boy.
Yeah.
And David's like, no, yeah, I'm scared, but I got God. And he didn't believe it. He was certain of it. He was certain of it. And I'm not saying based on what you believe, sure. But like, first of all, if you're doing it without God, like you're braver than me, but tougher than me. But the point I'm saying is I knew it was going to click because I'll do whatever it takes until it does click.
Yeah.
There wasn't like I don't need it to click right away.
Right.
I think people are getting tripped up a little bit. Like everyone wants to get to the top.
Right.
Everyone wants to get to the top. Want to see that $100,000, $1 million checks. Everyone wants to get to the top, but no one's willing to shovel this shit. And I'm not talking about like shoveling the stuff for a couple of weeks, like embracing the suck for a couple of days. Like I'm talking, it could years, like, but I'll endure it. Like I will show up without, oh, this was successful yet. I'll show up every day, day in, day out until it does click. So it wasn't a matter of like, is it gonna click? Is it not gonna click? Because if it didn't click, I would just pivot to what will eventually click and follow the breadcrumbs to what would click. And I knew that if I just kept showing up and controlling my efforts and inputs, then like God would lead me there. The path would lead me there. God will take me there. So it wasn't like I wasn't even waiting for it to click. And it's God will like show you the green lights. Nope, don't go this way didn't work. Go this way, go this way. So the point I'm trying to make is like, you got to be willing to endure some shit. You got to be willing to shovel some shit. You're not just going to get to the top of the mountain tomorrow like that. And if you did, you wouldn't have learned anything to be able to stay there. You got like, that's the thing. It's like, I'll shovel the shit. I'll endure it. I'll embrace the suck. Like we could go toe to toe all day. I could shit and shit longer than you can. You know what I mean? Like I will go harder and I will go longer with no results showing until it does. Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
It's like, what are we so afraid of? What you don't want to take a job where you're going to be cold calling again? Why? What do you deserve? What do I like? You don't want to take a job where you're going to be like, when you have to go into the office, like, why? Why do you deserve that? It's just like, and that's what I mean by like being a leader and owning it, like owning yourself, owning your future. And like, you're going to have to do the shit you don't want to do. And if you don't want to do it, I will. So like we're not playing the same game now. We're not playing the same game now.
I love it, man.
And I'm sorry for getting fired up like that. But like,
lay it out,
and
bro.
I don't
Come
mean,
on. Give me more.
And it's just like, it's a big problem I see.
Yeah, especially
today. It's a big
today.
problem I see today. It's a big problem I see today. Like, you know, I've had people say like, oh, it looks like you're crushing it. You're having the best time. You're doing so. I'm willing to shovel this shit. I'm still shoveling shit.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm still shoveling shit. Like I'm not bigger than anything.
Right.
And if I'm gonna shovel the shit, I'm gonna do it better than anybody else can. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure it's pristine shoveling. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like you gotta put in, and it's not just about like putting in the work. It's not just about hard work. Like it's not just about that. Like you also have to like control your attitude and control like your mindset and control your energy and your vibration of like what you're bringing to your hard work. You know,
it's
and
so
working
good.
smart.
It's so good. And here's the great part is if you are in a spot right now where you are shoveling shit and you are working through the shit is the fertilizer, and we need the fertilizer to grow. And so many people just want the gold and they want the flowers. They want to be in the garden. And like you said, that doesn't happen overnight. You can't just get the garden overnight. And if you did, you wouldn't enjoy it and you wouldn't know how to maintain it. So the shit is the way to the garden. It's the fertilizer. So if you're shoveling the shit, keep going. And I think that's an elite mindset shift that I see with a lot of embodied leaders. This next era leader embodies this. Not only are they okay with shoveling shit, but they welcome the shoveling shit. They celebrate the shoveling shit moments because they know that this is what's required for growth and that there is value in here. There is gold in here. There's fertilizer and growth fuel in this shit. And that's a totally different game and different mindset, because when you do face that adversity, you welcome it and embrace it. And it takes practice and it takes being around other leaders that have that same perspective to actually endure that. But like, we put that into practice in real time. We put that into practice time and time again, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. It's like, I don't want you on my team if you're not willing to shovel this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think like, I don't know, I think when it comes down to it, it's like, make a decision, go for it, and then do the best that you can in every moment that you can. And it's like, we're not robots, right? It's like, we're not robots where production just goes like this on a scale. Like, it's not like every second of every day. It's not about that, but it's about like, how quick can I get back to having that good attitude?
That's right.
How quick can I get back to like being happy about shoveling this, and how quick, can I reshift my focus and control myself and breathe? And it's like, when I look at these leaders, brother, like when I look at the George Washingtons, when you learn about the Ulysses S. Grants, like, they are hanging on to the hope for years. They barely scraped by leading, and they like there were so many times where like it was over for them, over, and they were able to hang in there and endure it nobly, and hang in there and hang in there and hang in there, and momentum builded and compound interest and momentum building, and they hung in there, and then all of a sudden one little win leads to a next bigger win, leads to an eventual triumph. And it's just, how much better is that triumph when it took so much poise and resilience to get there.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, what it shows me, what it tells me is like, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. Like, most of the time you're gonna think this is over. Like, for most of the time you're gonna think, I don't know if this is right, or I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if, like, you might feel that and think that for a long time, until like all of a sudden, by just staying resilient and enduring it, all of a sudden, boom, like you hit like an overnight success that took years in the making, right?
Yep.
And when you study these great leaders, it's like they all have this common thread of how noble and honorable, and how much they clinged onto hope and were willing to shovel the shit and willing to make the sacrifices and to endure it, to only eventually have a huge triumph.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love the story of David and Goliath, and what you're talking about there, something that really resonates with me deeply now and really in these last couple years, is the concept, the difference between knowing and hoping or believing. Like, there's a difference between like, yeah, like I believe in this, or I believe this will work out, or I hope this will work out. Like, it's kind of like hope leads to belief, leads to knowing. Like you're talking about in that story of David and Goliath, and as the story goes, it's the story of knowing, and it's that story of certainty. It's certainty. It's inevitability. It's certainty. And it's something that, we talked a lot about through the wind down of Edge, of holding on to that, of our prayer of God, lead us where we're needed most. And that prayer of knowing that this is going to work out for us. Unattached to what form that takes, but this is going to work out. This is going to work for us. That steadfast knowing. There's a difference energetically in that knowing versus just hoping or even believing. Like, I believe this will work. It's like, no, I know this will work. Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time. And hold tight, hang steady, and loosen your grip a little bit on the how,
That's good. Function over form.
Function over form, dude. And just adjust your sail to the wind. Be adaptable. Put in the work. Have a good attitude, which requires work. I think what we discovered and what we've done a good job of is we've become so passionate about the work. And some people could call it self-help books, which is such a cliche, corny connotation to self-help books.
Yeah.
And such a bullshit pussy, bitch way to, such a wimpy way to say it, because if you don't know what to do, work on yourself.
Right.
You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
You got to put in the work to be able to endure the shit, to be able to have a good attitude, to put yourself in that situation to have a large triumph, right? And I just think I thank God of how for the last 10, 12 years we've just been so passionate about that work. About that work.
You gotta love it. Fall in love with the process. You gotta fall in love with the game. You gotta love the game.
And that compounds. That consistency compounds. I think you said it you sent me that you sent one of the mornings last week, 2 weeks ago. You said, what you know about waking up on every day like you're on a mission. And I laughed when you sent that, because I love that, and we've been saying that to each other for 8 years.
Yeah.
Consistently saying something, and that might seem so minuscule to people, but it's that certainty, what you know about waking up on a mission, that we've been saying and highlighting and emphasizing every day for 8 years, that has compounded, consistently compounded. And Providence, God in the universe has met us pound for pound with that certainty and knowing and of that inevitability. Right?
Absolutely. Inevitability. One of the ways I admire in which you lead is your ability to throttle between both your masculine energy and your feminine energy, and leading with masculine energy at times and leading with your feminine energy at times. Can you talk a little bit more about that to you? Is that something that's conscious? Has that something that's been developed? I mean, you are someone that is embodied both in your masculine and in your feminine, and something that you're constantly working on. I know that's been more of the last chapter of, in high school, you're leading in a very masculine way. And now even in just some of the words that you're saying and how you're talking about loosening your grip and letting go and trusting in God and finding that flow and being led, it's a great combination. And I feel like when to throttle each way. Is that something conscious that you do, or is that just it's something that I admire in the way you lead?
Wow, well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. And I think I've always had strong relationships with females in my life, and to this day I do, very strong best friends that are women and that I learn so much from, and I know you do too. We just are rattling them off, but it's they have insane magic. They have insane
they create
powers.
life.
Yeah. And they're unbelievable. The stuff I've been able to learn from them, and I think and I'm still learning more about they would probably say I'm strong masculine and how I lead in so many ways, but no, I think leading with empathy for yourself, and for sure leading with empathy for yourself, but also leading and having empathy with others. There's no judgments, man. There's no judgments. We're all just wanting to figure it out and
doing the best we can.
and doing the best we can, you know. And as long as you are doing the best you can, then you're great. You're good. You got nothing to worry about. So like I think breath work and meditation has helped me step more into that feminine energy and receiving and attracting. You know, I come from a very, you know, if I want it, I'm taking it, you know, type thing, and stepping more into that, like, no, let's attract it and vibrationally, and I'm still learning more how to step into that feminine, but I also think you do it perfectly. Like, what would you say? What comes to mind for you?
I would say it's exploring both modalities and ways of being and ways of leading, and naturally I've been much more embodied in the masculine energy of like you're saying, go get it. Sports teaches you that in a big way of go. And so I recognize this maybe coming up close to probably 10 years ago, as well as, oh, there's this whole other way. There's this whole other part of me. There's this whole other way of being and living and doing. And that's a part of me too. The receiving, the focus on flow. And so like I kind of teetered from one extreme to the other. Like I'm going to solo backpack for 8 months through Southeast Asia and just go with the flow and just see what comes. I'm going to go deep into meditation and yoga and go into this path of just letting things unfold. And so I went deep into that mode of being, and ultimately have been focused on bringing both writing poetry, absolutely, art, expression. And ultimately I feel like through exploring both, I've been able to embody more of who I am, because like those are all different parts of who I am.
Totally.
And I think that a strong leader, know thyself, right? Socrates, know thyself. A strong leader knows themselves and knows all of themselves, and not just the masculine and the feminine, but and the light and the gifts, but also the darkness, the shadow self, the inner work, the weaknesses. And so I feel like I've been on this journey of exploration of, I want to like, if our body is, the analogy that's coming through right now is like, if our body and our being is this house that we have, most of us are just living in like one or two of the rooms all the time. But there's all these other rooms. There's hallways. There's wings of the house that we have not even yet explored. There's nooks and crannies. So I'm constantly, it's just a way that I live my life, is through this self-exploration of what are these different parts of me? Oh, that thing triggers me right now. What is that part of me that's being triggered? What is that part of me that has fear of asking this question in this moment? And let me open the door to that. Or there's a tapping on the door. Like, what's that emotion that's present? Let me open the door to that emotion. Let me be with that, instead of just avoid it or just put on music to numb out the knocking at the door that eventually is going to burst through if I don't open it now. It's going to get louder and bigger, and it's going to burst through one way or the other. So I feel like through that journey and that way of being, of constant self-exploration, it's led me to open up these different doors, and there's still so much to open up, and there's still some rooms that I've cracked open, I've closed real quickly, right? You're like, nope, let's close that. Or some rooms that are like starting to get brighter, that have been dark, and that I'm embracing. But just that idea of I'm on this path of exploring this. Also, there's some of the more masculine rooms, there's some of the more feminine rooms, and through getting to know myself in those ways, then I'm more effectively able to lead in whatever situation presents itself. And coming back to leadership in that way, like I think a leader is someone who responds, who has responsibility, who has the ability to respond to any situation. Like, you are a leader if you are consciously responding to a situation. Shit happens, life happens. How are you going to respond to that? Leaders choose. They're the thermostats, not the thermometers. They're not just moving up and down. They're choosing their response. And sometimes that choice, that response is a more of a masculine response, and sometimes it's more of a feminine led response. And having that discernment to know and to discern between what needs to happen in this moment. And it's a constant dance and oscillation. There's no science to it. That's more of an art. I feel like there's not really like a science of like, when this happens, then this. It's like, there's different ways to respond. It's more of an art, but you build that art through knowing and through practicing and through fucking up.
How do you begin to explore these other rooms that within yourself? Like, what's the best way to be able to like do that?
Yeah. Great question. question. The good part is there will always be a knock at the door. Like there's a knock at the door right now. Wherever that knock at the door is, what is that curiosity that you have? What is that question that you have? What is something that you feel really drawn towards? Like there's a door there. That's a doorway in your life. And that doorway is there because there's something for you to learn more deeply about that. And there's something to learn more deeply about yourself through that door, whatever that is. If you're feeling really drawn to painting or playing the piano, like open that door, walk through that doorway, because there's something there for you. And even more present, even easier to start, not even just like what's calling you, is like, what's triggering you right now? The triggers are the knocks at the door. When something's triggering you, that's an emotion, that's an experience, that's something knocking at the door saying, hey, I'm here. There's some gold here within me, but I'm covered in shit. So you're going to have to shovel through the shit and sit with the shit to get to me. Hey. And instead of turning the volume up on the music and distracting yourself or shoving it under the rug or throwing it into the closet with all the other stored emotions, like how can we begin to open up and sit with that and be with that? Because that's the growth, and that's a whole other room. So I would say that to continue that self-exploration is what's present, like what's triggering you, where do you feel something isn't right, and why, and just open up that door for curiosity to sit with it. But you have to turn and look at it. It's scary as shit. It never gets easier. You get better at doing it, but it's not easy. Like, you know, I'm working through like when I talked to you on the phone the other day of like getting triggered in certain ways of scarcity, of living off savings right now as I'm making this transition and seeing that dwindle down very fast, of scarcity and questions of, am I ever going to find love? Getting older and getting to a point where I'm wanting that and calling that in, and like, is that possible? It's like, those are all things that I feel and I think, but there's more to explore there. Like, why is that? Let me sit with that. Let me be with that. And those are the pathways. Those are the pathways to growth.
Those are the pathways to growth, bro. That is beautifully said. And I think like so often we end up noticing when we end up looking that fear, I guess, if you will, or that, if you will, like dead in the eye, it's like on the other side of it. You end up realizing like, oh, that wasn't so bad, actually. Right. And that's where the biggest the blessings are.
That's where the blessings are.
Like, that's where the miracles are stored.
Yes. Like, I like to think it's like it's like we're running away from the shadow of this monster that's chasing behind us. But when we turn, it's just like, it's a little puppy. Oh yeah. It's just like it's just the way the light's hitting it a certain way. It's just a little puppy.
I mean, dude, how many times like that has been the thing for me, where it's like I have so much resistance to this or fear to this, and then I just look it dead in the eye and I go for it, and I'm like, oh, that was not so bad.
That was not so bad. My favorite movie that displays this. Do you know what movie this is? My favorite movie, if you want to watch a movie in a new way, it's one of my favorite movies for so many reasons. I'm going to do a whole solo episode just on this, but just a little sneak peek. My favorite movie that puts this concept on display is The Sandlot. The Sandlot is the perfect movie. Think about it. The whole plot, it's the beast, right? The scary, the beast that eats humans. How long is the beast going to be there? Forever. And I love the fact that, you know, Smalls, as he's like in the beginning, as he's understanding all of this, he's like, well, why don't we just go knock on the door? Are you kidding? You crazy? The old man's gonna kill you. Like it's like no, but, and then at the end, James Earl Jones, R.I.P. Shout out. Oh, he was like, you should have just asked. I could have gotten it for you. And like the beast is this cute dog
that they love. Right? Licking and slobbering
it off as they get the ball. It's like The Sandlot is the perfect representation for that. It's like, we're just like out here playing these games of like trying to avoid or dance around, just go knock, open the door. Just go open the door. Go ask.
Just go ask.
Right.
Just go ask. Yeah, bro, that's beautifully said. I love that. I was just talking about The Sandlot with my roommates. Were you? So funny. I was like, we need to sit down and watch.
You should rewatch it with this
so
mentality.
Funny you just bring that up.
Yeah, it's a great lesson in that. But
that's so good. You often realize like the thing you were afraid of is nothing. It was nothing.
Yeah, it can actually be your friend.
Like, it will be your biggest blessing.
It will be your biggest blessing, your biggest friend. Yeah. So I think that's something that we've talked about.
What do you look for in a leader? Like, what would you look for in a leader, or the people, like, as you sit there and think like that are leaders in your life? Like, what are the qualities that they have?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really think it comes down to it's like they are people that are leading themselves. Like that to me really is what a leader is. It's like, are you capable of leading yourself? Meaning, are you capable of showing up the way that you want to be showing up? Because here's the thing, like, if you're not in the driver's seat, that means that somebody else is in the driver's seat. And oftentimes that someone else in the driver's seat is either one, your inner child, your little kid who is driving with all these protective mechanisms to try to keep you alive, and in a version where you don't necessarily doesn't serve you anymore. So it's either like your inner child is driving you with patterns that no longer serve you and trying to keep you safe with love, trying to keep you safe. Either your inner child's driving, or your parents are driving, and when I say your parents, I say like the parental idea of how you were raised, and with good and bad, because of course there can be a lot of good in there, but there can also be a lot of bad in there. So it's like you're either letting your inner child, your parents, or you're letting this combination of society, culture, pop culture, mainstream media drive you, which is other people leading you. So it's like all three of those things are not your true self today and the most empowered version of yourself. You can take parts of those, of course, but so to me, I look at someone as a leader who's someone who's driving the car like of their own life, meaning that they are going somewhere where they want to be going. And oftentimes they're taking other people with them, but they don't have to be taking other people with them. They are someone who's just, they are going somewhere. They are responding. They are that thermometer, not that thermostat. So I look for like, how do they show up? And and you can see it, it's down to every interaction.
Show up, especially when they're shoveling the shit.
Especially when you're shoveling the shit.
Especially when you're in the fear. Especially when you're in the unknown. Right?
Well, that gives you the opportunity to define yourself and show yourself what you're capable of.
Yeah, it really does.
That's where leaders are born.
It really does.
Right? Like George Washington wasn't born as a leader in good times.
No, certainly not.
Yeah.
And I think fear is a bit like there's the one thing I've absolutely certainly realized is like if you wait, like you'll never go. Like the fear will take over.
Yeah.
If you give it too long of a beat, like fear is gonna paralyze you. And I've learned like you really gotta just go.
Right.
You gotta go.
Right.
You gotta just go and go for it and jump in the nutshell up here. And that has actually been that echoes like just go for it. Just go for it. It's scary.
So you've led a lot of people both in your career, team members, and on stages and speeches that you've given. What's your message? Like, what do you want? Like, what's the path that you're like? What's the path that you're driving that you want to like clear the path for others to follow in your footsteps and what you're doing? What are you sharing when you get that mic and you're up on stage?
Yeah, wow. Thank you for that question. That's a great question.
I'm hitting you with some real ones today.
Yeah, no, you really are, and I absolutely love it. Let's keep it hot.
Yeah,
dude. To me, it comes down to the biggest thing that I would be sharing is mental toughness. Mental toughness, because it's a choice. Because it's a choice, because it's a practice. And I think I can't tell you to do exactly what I did. You should follow me this way. I wouldn't tell you that. I couldn't tell you like, to like not work a corporate job and go be an entrepreneur and like find, like, I wouldn't tell you to follow my path. Like that wouldn't be right. But what I can tell you is like, especially in this day and age, like, it goes back to David and Goliath. Me and Ricky were talking, and we're like, back in the day, it used to be physical strength.
Right.
Back in the day, it was like whoever was the physically strongest, like that was the leader, that was the David, or like, that was what you needed to survive. And now it's like this, it's mental strength. It's mental toughness. To be able to survive the bad moments, to be able to stop yourself from spiraling, to be able to encourage yourself and give yourself a permission to go for what you want, and to have empathy for yourself, and to do what you gotta do on the days and in the moments you do not feel like it. Like, because those days exist so much too. Just as much as people see the wins and the rainbow and how good it is, they don't see shoveling the crap to get to where we're going. And I think it takes a mental toughness and mental attitude. And what mental toughness is showing up and getting out of your own way to be the absolute best version of yourself today on the days and in the moments you certainly don't feel like it. And if you can do that, I'm certain it's inevitable for you. And I think there's so many distractions and echo chambers and advice and therapists and all these different things being thrown at us that it's like, it just comes down to like mental toughness. Like, can you be coachable? Can you take the feedback? When you win and when you win big, can you stay steadfast and not too high? And when you're low and when the tide is low and when the waves are shit, can you stay steadfast and stay here? And can you control what you can control and let everything else fall wayside to just control your own way you show up, meaning controlling your own thoughts and your own emotions and putting in that work? And if you can conquer mental toughness, if you could grow your mental toughness strength, it's like, it's inevitable for you. You could have and be everything you want and more. So like, that's just really what I want to lean more into and speak about and talk about.
So good.
Is that mental toughness.
Does
that answer your question?
It does. And you're the absolute perfect person to be talking about that and bringing that to our generation, especially with all the nuances that you hold within that. Again, coming back to like both the masculine and feminine energies that you're embodying, it's like you have that amazing ability to speak to that. And I love what you say. It's like in today's world, the biggest battles we face are often right between our ears. And sports is a great example and teacher of this because it merges both. You've got a physical challenge and element, and you've got the mental thing. But it's just like when you're talking, I'm just thinking about the next play mentality. It's like, how do you show up? How do you keep playing when you're down? How do you keep playing when you know you're gonna lose the game? Like, how do you keep playing?
And it's just like, like how do you play when your boss looks at you and goes, you messed up. This is bad. How do you show up when you're on a PIP? I don't know if you're not
performance.
You're on a performance plan.
You
start throwing the towel in, you start quitting. Like, no, like you play through the whistle. Like, how do you show up in the moments where you're getting constructive feedback and it hurts and it kind of stings? Can you show up the next day? Can you show up the next hour and put that behind you and let it go? And I think like as human beings, for some reason, the positive stuff is amazing, but the negative stuff sticks longer. And it's easier for the negative stuff to stick and stay top of mind. And I think real growth and real spiritual practice, real providence is real two eyes on God is like just allowing things to happen and pass and not dictate your mood, your energy, your mindset, your desire, your attitude, your perspective, right? It's I see people, like my boss, like there was times at the beginning of what I'm doing now where, I got real hard feedback, like where it's like, damn, that does not feel good. Like, and you start doubting yourself maybe a little bit. Am I good at this? Am I right? And I'm like, and I would find myself in those moments I'm saying that it's like, whoa, come back. And and this is because I practiced it, that I'm able to call myself out in those moments. And all I'm thinking is like, okay, let's take the coaching. Let's take the feedback. Let's take it off the chin. And like, I just got better. I just took a step forward. And then like, when you show up that way, like you become pretty bulletproof and like, I'm just getting better now. Like I'm not like, it's And it's not this game of like everything needs to be perfect and every day is better than the last day and I'm working 10 hours a day 24/7. It's this game of I could get shit done on days I don't feel like getting shit done.
Oof.
I could show up 110% high energy, high excitement on days where I don't feel that high energy and excitement. I could give myself permission to like, I messed up right there. Like I could have been better. I should have been better. And then forgive myself and move forward and move on within the same moment. It's that constant game that you got to play out here, and you got to be mentally tough to be able to persevere and to be relentless through it. So
good.
You know?
Well, give me something practical that if someone wants to develop their mental toughness, like let's say someone acknowledges, and it's a spectrum because we're all getting better at this, but like someone acknowledges, I want to become more mentally tough. What would you coach someone on that?
Yeah, I would coach someone in a few ways. And, you know, I think you have to become mentally tough by first and foremost, like doing the hard things and being consistent. So whether that's working out every day, whether that's meditating every day, whether that's you want to learn a new skill like the piano or poetry every day, but you become mentally tough by committing to something and then showing up for it every day, day in, day out, and proving you can do it, even on the days and in the moments where you really don't feel like doing it.
Earning
that
respect for yourself.
Earning that.
That's a big thing, I feel like, because you have to earn that respect for yourself.
You do. You absolutely do. And then practicing letting things, practice letting things fall off you, and then practice.
What do you mean by that? Letting things fall off you.
Well, like I'll say like the Michael Singer line that is just like really hammered true, and I'm curious like how this is gonna hit. But how Michael Singer talks about it is like, you know, there's a man that is terrified of dogs, and he's got this neighbor that has these two huge pit bulls, right? And the man is going outside to get the mail, and all of a sudden his neighbor comes out and calls the dogs in, and the man who's getting the mail is terrified of the dogs. The only way for the dogs to get to the house is to go past the neighbor, the guy who's scared of dogs. So instead of letting him pass, that guy is sitting there just shooing him off. And because he's sitting there shooing him off, he ends up being out there for an hour, shooing him off. Then it turns into 2 hours. He's so scared of him that he keeps pushing him away. And then his wife calls him in for dinner. I can't go. I got to stand here and shoo these off. And then his kids call him because they want to play. And he's like, I can't go. I got to sit here and shoo them off. So he's letting this thing that he's so scared of, that he's so terrified of, instead of just like letting it fall off him and go past through him, he's standing there shooing him off, blocking all these other blessings, which is time with his kids and dinner with his wife. Because he's standing there trying to shoo him off. So I really, really believe that we need to practice just letting things pass through us. Like we let 99% of things pass right through this, as he says. And I'm a victim to this as well, because we get so caught up in our stuff that we contain. Yeah. Right? Like that we store. It would be like you never getting in a cold tub again because you're bitter.
I'm bitter because I lost a cold tub business.
Because we no longer have a cold tub business. That'd be you blocking your blessings and letting your stuff get in the way of receiving more opportunities, more blessings, more of the benefits, right? So it's like, we're driving and we see this and we see that, and it just goes right in the ear we're at one another. But then there's some stuff that just sticks, that negative stuff. So it's being mentally tough enough to be able to let that stuff just pass. And I'm not saying like don't sit with it for a second. Wait, why do I feel this way?
Right.
Why do I feel, I feel this way because this. Okay. And like letting it pass, letting it go right by you. So
and that's often what the emotions just want to do, is be felt.
Yeah,
Once they're
yeah.
felt, it moves past. Emotions are energy in motion. So when you feel the emotion, it moves and it goes past. So that's just allowing it to move through.
Yeah.
That takes courage and it takes toughness, but then it moves through.
Yeah, then it moves through. And that's what we mean by like so much of us are subconscious beings. And like the more I learn about that, like the more I know it's true. It's like we're just acting right now in reality based off of like what we've already lived through. Like it's just easier for our brain to go there to like this feeling. Like you end a relationship, so you know, in the past, everything, you always go to your set songs and set playlists. You always start like taking long walks and long drives. You start sleeping in, skipping the gym. It's easier for you to go there. That's your stuff. Like it's hitting your stuff. So like subconsciously you just act this way because it's easier. Where instead you could reprogram, like noticing when you're starting to see that stuff is being hit and letting it sit and sitting with it and feeling it, letting it pass, and then okay, let's realize like I'm a conscious being. Like I can do whatever, be whatever, feel whatever, think whatever in this moment. In this very moment, I could choose whatever. I am in control. I am owning it. And that's what I mean by ownership, you know? Like owning your shit, you know?
I love that.
Yeah. I forgot what you asked. But
I forgot what I asked too. I was just receiving that blessing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Thank you, bro. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a fun game out here. Like, let's just have some fun with it, like with the people we love, and like not take it so incredibly seriously. Like be mentally tough.
Nobody gets out alive anyway.
Yeah, dude, not taking anything.
But I think mental toughness leads to a better quality of life. If you're more mentally tough and more resilient, you enjoy a better quality of life.
Mental toughness is also like choosing happiness. I told you, like I heard that from Naval. It's like somewhere there exists the happiest person in the world. Well, like I'll choose that. I'll bear that bird. I'll bear that crown. Why would that's
Wait,
what
tell me that again. Tell me that more again. What's this? Let's go into this full thing.
No, somewhere in the world,
right
in
now,
this very moment, there's somebody who is the happiest man alive. So, like, I'll choose to be that. I'll be the happiest person. That's a choice.
Yeah.
You cannot say you're happier than me. You could not say you're happy. You could prove it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll choose that. I'll wear that crown. I'll be it. I think, and like that's mental toughness. Like mental toughness is controlling what you can control, right?
Yeah.
It's and there's not much you can't control if it's not happening externally. Why is it happening internally? Why am I over? You know what I'm saying? Like I can only control very, 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 very few things, like my decisions, my judgments, my actions, my perspective, my desires, like that's really about it, where I put my attention. So it's like everything else, it's like hearsay, all good.
Yeah.
Like, well, like
let it go.
do whatever y'all got to do.
Right.
Like this, like the universe is just in motion. So it's like, and I'm just a small freaking part of this whole gigantic thing. So it's like, I can control being happy. I can control how I show up. I can control being mentally tough enough to be like, today's a good day.
Yeah.
Today's a good day. I'm happy today. Let's put in some work today. Let's feel good today. Let's eat some good food today. Let's work out, move our bodies today. Let's hug our friends. Tell the people we love them today. Like, let's look what we're scared to do in the high a little bit today. Just 1% better. It's like, and that's the other thing about shoveling the shit, right? Which you quickly realize, it's like Rome wasn't built in a day either. It's like, especially in the entrepreneurial world, it's like just 1% today.
Yeah.
Can I just move the needle a little bit today? Like, can I do this 10 times today? Can I reach a little bit consistently, right? So it's like, I think it's all about, you know, putting in like the work on yourself and and being surrounded by people that give you that like unconditional love that's uplifting is a huge part of it, because you are who you are around. You are, you know, the sum of the people you're around. But mental toughness.
And especially the time, I just want to double click on that time horizon piece, because it feels like, especially now more than ever, it's easy to expect things to happen fast, because we live in a fast world where we get things on demand. You press a button, you got groceries at your door. You press a button, a driver comes and picks you up. Like you push a couple keys, you get an answer to anything you want with Chat GPT. Like we've been conditioned now to be more in an instant reality. And there's a lot of people out there that are talking about like, here's how you can make money overnight, or like we're wired for that quick hit and that quick fix. And I think another big part of mental toughness that you're talking about here, which is a key tenet of this leadership, is knowing that it's going to take some time, and not shying away from that, holding the vision.
Yeah.
Even if you don't see results right away.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like, I mean, it's going to take time, but you'll have wins along the way too.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you celebrate those wins in a lot of forms. But again, it's like, I don't tie the success based to the wins.
That's the biggest thing.
I'm tying the success based on like how mentally tough I was today. And that's like, I can look myself in the eyes and be like, I did my best in every moment I could today. Like that's what I'm tying my success to. At the end of the day, I'm not focused on how many closes I had today, how much money I made today. Like that will come, I know, because I'm showing up again tomorrow. Same fucking effort, same high energy, same high effort, whatever it takes, because like I'm going to do my best with what like God gave me and what my family gave me and what I want to do out in this world, you know? But like, again, it's like, once again, like if you're looking for a quick success, like I pray for you. I hope you get it. I hope you get it. I'll take it too, for sure. And like we'll stumble upon that where they'll say like overnight success,
right?
Years in the making.
That's right.
An overnight success that took years in the making. And it's like, and it's just because like, I don't know. Don't you want to sharpen your teeth? Don't you want to like tell a story? Aren't we just storytellers? Like we say this all the time, but like I want to be in a rocking chair with all the money in the world, smoking a cigar, telling my kids all these incredible stories and like this and that and this and coaching them and talking to them. And it's like, we're just storytellers.
Yeah. Like
I want to, the camera is rolling. I am telling a story that grab your popcorn, like let's have some fun. Oh, that was actually a comedy. Oh, that got pretty dark. Wow, what resilience that was. Like, let's just tell a amazing story. Let's just have some fun with it and not take it so seriously.
All of the emotions.
And it's like, yeah, it's gonna take some time potentially, but I bet like a year ago we were flying to Chicago, you know? It's like shit could happen fast too. There's no doubt about it.
So true.
But vibrationally, mental toughness, it's like you have all success in the world, but if you're not mentally tough, like you're not gonna be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't know. I feel bad for people. I feel bad because I feel like people need to be happier. I feel like people need to and maybe it's not even be happier. I feel like people need to enjoy more.
Yeah, I think so too. And I like your thesis that mental toughness is the pathway towards doing that, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
One thing that Jamie, one of the guys we were with this weekend in our mastermind, shared that I know you'll love is that he has a belief that one day before he passes away, he will see a movie his life will flash before his eyes in the form of a movie, and he wants to make that the most epic movie possible. And so he asks himself every day, how can I add one frame to this movie that's Oscar worthy?
That's
how
beautiful.
do I make this an Oscar worthy film?
That's
and what
beautiful.
can I do today to make to add in something that I will remember as part of this film.
That's a powerful way to live. And that's a really powerful way to live.
What a frame, right?
What a frame, dude. And like some of us are just trying to get by the day.
Yeah.
And so like,
Right.
could you imagine if you could like find that, like that's an elite motherfucker right there. Like I'm sorry, I'm swearing a lot. I'm all fired up. It's the tea.
Got me all jacked up on
tea.
Mountain Dew.
It's the tea. Is there caffeine in this tea?
Yeah, there is caffeine in the tea.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But it's like, that's an elite way to live. I'm inspired by people that like choose to live in an elite way that works for them.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, man. I mean, people kill for our bad days. It's like, it's nothing new out here. It's nothing new. It's nothing crazy. It's not rocket science. Like, put in the work on yourself. And like, and mental toughness, like, is working on yourself as well. It's going out there and like listening to the books or reading the books or listening to the podcast or going to see the people that are the proof of it and that can help you get better and developing the skills and adding them to your toolkit and doing it consistently and practicing something. Like, you know, I just think you owe it to yourself at the end of the day to be happy. I think you owe it to yourself to do the hard things. I think you owe it to yourself to like shovel the shit and sharpen your teeth and be resilient and to like really get to know all the hallways and doors and crooks and crannies of your house. Like, I think we owe it to ourselves as human beings if we want to, you know, just at the end of the day be like, wow, what a ride that was.
Isn't that what we're here for?
Isn't that what we're here for?
Isn't that the point?
Yeah. And we need leaders like you and like me and like everyone and all of our close dear mentors and friends. It's yeah, I think like if you are struggling, like if you don't know what to do, like just start working on just work on yourself. Like, and is that too big of something to say, or do people know where to go when you tell them to work on themselves? Like,
there's so many outlets and there's so many ways to start. Like, how did you start working on yourself? How did I start? Like, I started working myself from like meeting Tony Robbins and like seeing like learning, like listening to a podcast with Tim Ferriss, like, and starting to learn that, oh, there's these concepts, there's these principles. Like, there's so many. Mel Robbins, Let Them, her book, her podcast. It's like there's a whole space of personal development, of self-expansion, of self-help, as they say. Like start there. Start with someone that's sharing a message that resonates with you, and success leaves clues, and all definitions of the word success leaves clues. So there's people that are dedicated to exploring this. So like start with someone or somewhere that a message resonates and follow the yellow brick road and see where it leads you to. That's where you start, right? Isn't that how you started?
That's exactly how I started. Yeah, that's exactly it. I started by like, you know, choosing to be around people that
lit you up,
that lit me up, you know?
Yeah.
I started by learning what mental toughness was playing football, and God bless sports for being that, because sports are that in a big way. And you have no idea how important that is. That translates to life.
Right. One of the things I'm just laughing thinking about is like we played basketball many times together and many more to come. And one time we were playing with someone who like someone was wearing like Crocs or something like that, or like we're like, what the fuck? But like he was playing hard, and like I'll take the kid that's playing hard in Crocs over the other kid who's a much better basketball player and in the best shoes ever, who's just like loafing around, right? Would you not take that kid?
100%, 100%. If the good kid was, I don't even want to play. I don't want to be anywhere near the kid that is a good basketball player that's not playing hard.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to be here? Are you having fun?
That says a lot about you, about someone. Yeah, that says a lot. It says a lot.
How you play the game. How you play a game. How you play anything.
Especially if you're good.
Yeah.
And you're not playing hard.
Right.
And especially then.
What's Jeff Sonkin say? What's Papa Sonkin say?
I mean, he always would say like the worst thing you could be is a wasted potential.
Yeah.
Like that's and my dad definitely like subconsciously programmed me in a lot of ways to like go for it in that way, in that regard. And he's always been my rock too. And like, because it's so to me, it's always been a game of like, let's just find the edge. Let's just push it. Let's just see. My biggest fear would be to look back and be like, what if, you know, that would be my biggest fear, but I don't fear that anymore, I would say, because like I'm certain. And dude, shout out to God. Like actually, like, I mean, like that relationship with God is everything. I don't, and that's been more recent years, like the last 5 years or so, like really 4 years, whatever. But
really the last year too, I feel like, especially, I mean, for me and for you, like this last year,
especially
because you don't know how much your relationship with God is important and needed until it is needed. And I always like to say that God is the rock at the rock bottom. Like when you hit that rock bottom, God is that rock that is at that rock bottom that catches you. And you get to know God. I got to know God so much more intimately and deep in my relationship and faith at the rock bottom than swimming up playing at the surface. So I agree. It's everything.
Yeah. It's like keep it moving out here. I think a lot of people are just like, I think like if you just sit there and you sit here, like you'll spiral. You'll spiral. Like you start the day off hot, but like you just sit there all day, like you will spiral into oblivion. It's like you gotta keep it moving out here. Like that's why I love you go do things like Mount Everest and go hiking and like, you know, your work days, like you got a meeting over here, you got your trainer over here. Like sometimes my biggest difficult thing is like I'm at my desk at home all day.
Right.
And I really, really believe like you got to keep it freaking moving out here. Like you got to do things. You got to do things. You have to live.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You really, really do. You want to create momentum for yourself? Like go, do things. Go.
Even like, I'm sure that's why you love walking Angel around the neighborhood too. The dogs get up, get moving.
Get up, get moving. Yeah. Get up, get moving. Me and Angel are walking around like some ladies like, you guys are so happy. Why are you guys so happy? And I'm like, I didn't even we're both cheesing. We're just so happy. I don't know. She makes me happy. I make her happy. It's my baby. So like
sometimes I wonder if you're walking Angel or if Angel's walking you.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of both.
Yeah, probably a bit of both. I think I'm walking Angel.
Yeah.
No, I think no. Actually, she's definitely walking me too. Yeah. Like no, she is.
Like she gets you out of the house too and gets you like moving, gets you in action.
Yeah, like she'll want to turn around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, we're like she'll effortlessly try to loop around. She knows because she's like, no, I don't want to do this right now. And I'm like, no, we're going. No, I swear. Like she will turn around. I'm like, no, we're going. You're coming with me too. Like
I thought the limit didn't exist to how the long walks dogs could go on, but the limit exists. You found the limit.
Yeah, no, she because like when it's the 5th one today with me, she's like, brother, I'm done on this. I'm like, no,
and she's not a big dog either. She's a small dog.
So every step I take, it's like 2 or 3 for her. And we're crushing steps.
She's got to be there.
She's like actually genuine. It's the funniest thing when she starts turning around. And I'm like, nah,
it's so funny. Like, no, Angel, we're going further.
Nah, I started running with her a little bit. She's good. She can run. Good.
She's got to be the most in shape small dog that exists ever.
Yeah, dude. She's a freak athlete.
She's an athlete.
Is it unbelievable? Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. She's so quick. Like her agility, she is so quick in and out of her cuts. Like she'd be a great route runner.
What position would she play if she played football?
Probably like slot receiver or outside linebacker. Yeah. Or nickel. Like you throw her in a nickel back because like she's not too tall. Like she could cover the field for sure. For sure, dude.
That's amazing. Yeah. Asking the question, what position would your dog play if your dog played football?
Yeah. I'd lace up next. See, I let her play on basketball court before that guy. That like for sure, dude. I'll throw her the ball first.
Do you want to be here? I mean, that's a real question. That's a part of it's a part of this all. Like, do you want to be here?
Yeah. Like I'm proud of my little brother, for example, because like he was just like he's just started a new job today, and you know I think he was a little bit because like I don't want to really do this.
Ryan or Jake?
Jake.
Nice.
He's like I don't really want to like do this job and you know like I don't think I'll hesitations. And I was like, bro, like I'm actually proud of you, because like this is the hard thing, like going and learning how to network and interview and find a job that is like that you'll have success in, that you could do well. But I'm like, you can't be afraid to sharpen your teeth.
Yeah.
Like, just because like you might be cold calling right now, like I'm telling you, you want to embrace the suck. Like, you want to, like, if you could get really good at getting out of bed every day, happy and excited to cold call, the world's your oyster, my dog. Like, the world is your oyster. If you could do this at a high level, like anything you want. So it's like, that's why I think it's so great about shoveling this shit. It's like, if you could learn to shovel the shit and endure it for long periods of time, happier than anyone, how much gold are you going to find? So much gold.
So
much gold.
So much gold.
I'll hire you.
Yeah.
I'll hire you. I'll get you a job.
I love it, dude.
I mean, I could buzz with you.
I know, this is so good. Well, we just hit the 90-minute mark here as we're jamming. So we'll wrap this bad boy up. But yeah, what a great conversation. Thank you, man. Thank you for the reminders as always, and thank you for being the friend that I can call when I'm feeling like I'm in the shit and I'm losing track of where I'm going, and it's so important. And I'm grateful to be a friend that you can call when you're shoveling through the shit, that can remind you of where you're going. And yeah, thank you for the way that you lead.
That's everything. Thank you for the way that you lead, and thank you for having me, and thank you for the way that you lead.
Absolutely,
thank you for belief in me.
Every single day, man. Bet the house on that.
I bet the house on you, bro.
Yeah.
I bet the house on you. I'll give you the ball on the fourth and one. You getting the ball.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to you right at the middle. I'll lead block for you all fucking day.
I love it, man.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
Same, bro. Love you, man. Anything you want to share as we wrap up with any listeners that are still musing with us here?
Invest in this kid. Put your money behind this kid. Trust me. Trust me.
Love you, bro.
Love you, bro. Good shit.